Alright, so we're going to talk about adding and subtracting fractions. So you've learned how to add and subtract fractions with like and unlike denominators in 4th and 5th grade. Now we're going to take that concept that you learned in elementary school and we're going to add negatives to the mix. So we still have to use our integer rules. So, you want to have a common denominator. If you already have a common denominator, add or subtract your numerators using the integer rules and keep your denominator. So if I have 1 6 plus 3 6, they have the same denominator. 1 plus 3 is 4. And then simplify. 4 over 6 simplifies to 2 over 3. 2 over 3. If you have different denominators, you need to find a common denominator, preferably the least common multiple. You want to have the least common multiple. So, I'm going to list the multiples of 9 and 16. 9 and 6. The multiple of 9 are 9, 18, 27. The multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18. The smallest number that they have in common is 18. So I want to make my denominator 18. In order to do that, I've got to multiply the denominators to get to 18. But if I multiply the denominator by something, I also have to multiply the numerator by something, that same number. So to get 9 to 18, I multiply by 2. What I do on the top, I do on the bottom. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 9 is 18. For 6, I'm going to multiply by 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Rewrite them as equivalent fractions. I now have 10 over 18 minus 6 over 18. I know that 10 minus 6 is 4. So now I simplify 4 over 18 by 2 over 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. They're both positive, so my answer is positive 2 over 9. All right, the practice at the bottom. My first problem, I have negative 1 over 3 plus 3 over 5. The least common multiple between 3 and 5 is 15. So I'm going to multiply negative 1/3 by 5 on the top and bottom. That's negative 5 over 15. Plus, I'm going to multiply 3/5 by 3 over 3. My common denominator is 15. So now I add my numerator using integer rules. Negative 5 plus 9. My signs are different, so I subtract. 9 minus 5 is 4. The bigger number is positive, so my answer is positive 4 over 15. Number 2, I have 6 over 7 minus 3 over 4. My common denominator is 28. So I'm going to multiply 6 over 7 by 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28. Minus, I've got to multiply 3/4 by 7. 3 times 7 is 21. 4 times 7 is 28. Now that I have a common denominator, I subtract my numerators. Now we know that when we subtract, we use additive inverse to do keep change opposite. But if I have something like 24 minus 21, I know that 24 minus 21 is 3. So I can just go ahead and do that and get 3 over 28. If you need to do 24 plus negative 21 to stay in the habit of using additive inverse, that's fine. You're going to get the same answer. And then for my last problem, I have negative 10 over 12 minus 3 over 18. My common denominator, least common multiple, is 24. So I'm going to multiply by 2. That gives me negative 20 over 24 minus the second fraction. I'm going to multiply by 3. 3 times 3 is 9 over 24. I have the same denominator, so now I look at my numerator. Negative 20 minus 9. I have to do keep, change, opposite. That's negative 20 plus negative 9, which is negative 29 over 24. All right, so for the right side of this page, adding and subtracting mixed numbers, again, you have to have the same denominator. So if you do not have the same denominator, you need to change to equivalent fractions with the same denominator. Keep your whole number the same while you're doing this. So for example 1, I have negative 1 1/2 plus 2 1/4. One common denominator is 8. You could also use 4, either way, but for this page they use 8. So we multiplied 1/2 by 4 over 4, which gave us negative 1 4/8. And then we multiplied 1/4 by 2 to give us 2 2/8. Once you have a common denominator, change both mixed numbers to improper fractions. We do that by multiplying. 1 times 8 is 16. 1 times 8 is 8. Plus 4 is 12. So that's negative 12 over 8. Plus 2 times 8 is 16. Plus 2 is 18 over 8. So I've converted my mixed numbers to improper fractions using around the world. I have a common denominator. So now I'm going to add my numerators. Negative 12 plus 18. My signs are different, so I subtract. That leaves me with 6 over my denominator, which is 8. And then the last step is to simplify if possible. 6 over 8 will divide by 2 over 2. And that leaves us with 3 over 4. Same thing for example 2. 5 1/3 minus negative 3 1/2. So we're going to get a common denominator of 6, which means we multiply 1/3 by 2. That gives us 5 2/6. Multiply 1/2 by 3. That gives us negative 3 3/6. Convert to an improper fraction. 5 times 6 is 30. Plus 2 is 32. 3 times 6 is 18. Plus 3 is 21. Keep my denominator. Use integer rules to add and subtract my numerator. Anytime I subtract, I have to do keep, change, opposite. That becomes 32 plus 21, which is 53. And that simplifies or converts to a mixed number as 8 and 5 over 6.